Hey everybody, it's Saturday, but because I try not to do too much work on the weekend since I'm going full time and save the weekend time for my family. But since the grandma took the kids off to the movies, I got a couple hours. We can try to get something done. So something I wanted to point out and forgot. You see these holes here? It's the center, it's one of the head bolts, I believe. And then there's one on this head. But that hole is where the oil comes up to supply the entire head with oil. Is through the head bolt, not through the center of the head bolt, but like through the head bolt hole in the head, around the head bolt. And when I pulled out the old head bolts out of those heads, and the smaller bolts here going to these rockers. See how there's like extra space in the middle or whatever? You can kind of see the stain there. But that's where the oil comes in and feeds the rocker arm with oil through the little holes that were drilled into the shaft and then out the rockers. Out this hole. Yeah, my point was when I pulled these bolts out, these were gooey. It was like tar, just, you know, that kind of tells me there wasn't a lot of oil pressure, oil flow going up to there when both of these so gooey. I find it hard to believe there's any oil flowing to the tops of those at all. But I mean, and that's probably why all those old push rods, it's probably why everything ovaled out, because it had gotten clogged with grime, not enough oil changes. It's pretty weird design. I don't know. My point is, you know, keep that in mind. Check those bolts for grime around that bolt. If there is any, you're going to want to clean that out real good so oil can flow back into the top of the head again. I got the copper spray warming up in the sun. It's like ice cold. Okay. Time to put in the lifters. I sprayed it with copper, and I used this lid to those little red buffing wheel. It's a lid to my red buffing wheel, and then it just sprayed around each one. Now we got to reach in here and get all these lifters in their home. We're just going to hold it right over the center, and I'm going to have to see if we can dump some of this out. Be careful. So I did get the heavy duty gaskets from Felpro, and they are specific to what side you put them on. And they're labeled top front, top front. First hit going on. Oh, it's so heavy. Oh. Woo! Heavy. I did not expect to find those. Line up those dowels then.
The way its tail was, it's so feathers. They're just straight.
So no sealant. We're just gonna do oil on the threads and a little on the head. And if you notice, here's that oiling hole I was talking about that comes up. It's actually from over here, cuts through this head bolt hole over into this rocker arm bolt hole, and goes into the rocker arm assembly. snug them all down. Now the sequence is supposed to be like 25, 55, and then 90 degrees. Let's get them all snug down first, and then we'll start that. Well, that is tough getting that to another 90 degrees. That's tough. Let's try one on real time here. I can't even. Oh man. I need more leverage. Okay. All right, got my beads of black RTV laid in the front and back, nice and tucked into the corners there, so it's going to seal on both sides of those intakes. And those intakes just hang on these tabs. You just want to make sure they're centered when you start, centered over the holes. And I think those are the bolt holes, so they're going to help you center a little bit, but you know. Okay, I can't help it. I am going to put some more of that number 2 sealant around these water jackets on the ends. Okay, there's one done. Boom. Are you happy now, guys? Jeez. Get off my back. Okay, I got 2 bolts in for alignment, so let's see if we can make it happen. Oh, this is backfiring. Just make sure your gaskets are still centered. Your tabs can be centered. I think we're level and centered. Just let that get all the bolts kind of finger started there, and we'll let it hang out for about an hour or so. Okay, so I went down by hand with just a normal ratchet until they started really, stopped really getting loose. I tightened this one and then that would be loose. And so I went down by hand until basically they all stopped doing that. And it says like 15 to 18 pounds. And it's not ideal to use a foot-pound torque wrench, but it's what I got. And I don't even know. Okay, yeah, it's working. I got it set to 18, and it's clicking for that other bolt. Just gotta get there. Okay, so it actually says to start on the outside and work your way in. So now that we're there, let's do that. Nope, this one. We just did that one. One, two, three, four. Got one. Okay, now start over to the wall click. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Okay, that's torqued. Clean the sensors. We're gonna need some thread sealant on those though, but they'll go right there. All right, get some fresh lube on these guys. Come on, where's the lube? There you are. Where are you going? Nowhere. That's funny, I can actually pull the lifter in and out with that one. For a second, anyway. These rocker arms on. And I did put lube on the tips of that too. Well, it's looking good. Just about got her. These is all, the injectors are all nice and pressed in. I got the bolts sitting in the chem dip. Haven't got a chance of cleaning any of the bolts yet, so. And I want to wait until after we get the oil pumping before I put the valve covers on, so I can make sure we're getting oil out of everywhere before we start it, before we put on the valve covers. Water pump is on the way tomorrow. Water neck is on the way tomorrow. And tonight I'm going to drain the oil and leave that open and just let it drain out. In the meantime, I've got a lot of cleaning to do. Clean all these bolts up for everything. They're all pretty nasty. These are going to need some wire brushing. But that's going to do it for today's video on the Ford 4.0 rebuild. We got a long ways today, I feel like, kind of. You know, it's interesting how it goes together really easy once you have everything clean. And honestly, if I had all the bolts cleaned earlier, we'd probably finish this up tonight. I think I'm going to take the battery off and put it on the charger too tonight. But it's not much to film, you know, cleaning bolts, waiting on parts, charging a battery. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.